Hello. I was supposed to play the jingle. It didn't work. It's still loading. Good morning.
Too early.
We'll do the jingle live. Amsterdam Kitchen. Saturdays 10 till 12 with me, Kathy Central, and
Gilly Carney.
Cool. So you've all listened to the pilot last week. Wonderful pilot. We're back.
It was jam-packed, wasn't it, Kathy?
Yes.
Over an hour worth of
local
talking.
Food stories.
Yeah, amazing.
And we've got more for you this morning. What have we got? We've got an interview with Bojana, local chef, and she's produced a cookbook. She's going to tell us all about it because it's not just a cookbook, it's just a method behind it.
Yeah, one that appeals, actually. Called Plan, Prep, Plate. So it's obviously about planning ahead, and the rest we'll let her explain. But what else have we got coming up? We've got another feature from Joe Montagna, Fat Kids Corner. We've got an in-season on a particular type of potato.
The Opperdoezer Ronde, which I just call Opperdoezers or something.
Opperdoezers, yeah.
Opperdoezers, but Opperdoezer Ronde. It's a very special potato.
Yes, and we've got our 5 favourites, which is focusing on places to have brunch in Amsterdam. And yeah, lots of other good stuff.
If you want to get involved and comment on anything on the show, you can tweet us at broadcastams. I don't think I did an Instagram post for this episode. Maybe I did. But our Instagram anyway, just in case you're interested, is at broadcastamsterdam, which we always do a picture from the show and blog posts and stuff like that. Amsterdam Kitchen. It's 10:09 on your Saturday morning, the 31st of August. I think summer's kind of coming to an end. We've got some restaurant reviews for you.
Yeah, so last week after the show, it was a beautiful sunny day, and I had determined to meet my husband in town, and we were on our way to a particular place that we had in mind, but we were cycling up Prinsengracht. And then this other place caught our eye, and it was just so appealing that we had to stop and have a look. And that place is called New Dutch Amsterdam.
It's a funny old name.
Yeah, and but very, very sweet. Yeah, so it's on the Prinsengracht. It's just the opposite side of the Anne Frank Museum.
Oh, right. Traditional canal house type?
Very much so. And there's even a little, you know how a lot of these Dutch houses have a kind of a plaster icon above the doorway or on the wall there.
Like historical anno, what's it?
Exactly.
16, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, this one is an updated one, so it actually features a bowler hat. Because I think the house was renovated...
by an Englishman?
Well, perhaps. It was renovated back in 97, and they'd obviously... I don't know whether the history of the place has something to do with bowler hats, but there you go. It just... Look out for that. It's cute. Yeah. Anyway, so we stopped there for lunch. The terrace was very, very pretty. A little bit of shade from some nice climbing... I'm not a gardener, so I can't. But anyway, it was shady. It wasn't too full on the sun. But if you wanted to eat inside, I did take a look, and it's kind of front room chic. It's nice. It's
front room chic. Oh,
yeah,
so you feel comfortable.
Exactly.
Not too stuffy.
Yeah, lots of pictures on the wall, lots of wood. There's kind of an open kitchen area, although it's not fully open. But so the wood and stainless steel, but actually the front part of the room is just really cozy looking. So.
But what about the food?
The food, yeah. So my husband, Andrew, had the Italian sandwich, which...
Why does it make me think of Rocky? I know, because at school we had this Italian drama teacher, and we used to call him the Italian stallion after Rocky. And now he's the Italian sandwich.
So,
makes me think of some Italian
yeah, I mean,
hunk.
I've got to say, the portion was pretty generous. So, maybe there are... correlations there to Rocky. Anyway, he was very happy with that. And what I went for was called the bolhoed salad, which bolhoed, I think, translating as bowler hat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's the connection.
A bowler hat salad.
A bowler hat salad. So,
what is that?
Well, it's a lot of things in one bowl. It was... So I had beetroot, avocado, cucumber, lettuce. So lots of light and fresh and freshly prepared things. But there was also some candied pecans, some manchega, which had been kind of creamed up into a frothy creaminess thing.
Wait a minute. Candied pecans, great.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Manchego cheese, but that been kind of blended. It was called whipped manchego.
Oh, I don't know if I'd like that. The consistency.
Oh, you know what? I tell a lie. It wasn't the manchego that was whipped. It was the feta.
Oh, right.
So lots and lots of little tastes of lovely, interesting things. It was it was an enormous bowl, which is good because it was $14.80. So a bit pricey, but it was enormous. I didn't think I'd finish it, but I did because it was delicious.
Yeah, and this was for dinner?
No, just a Saturday lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do. Well, actually, they are more of a daytime cafe. So although they do a few Boral snacky type things for early evening, they are closed by 6 o'clock.
Ooh. That's not going to pay your Amsterdam rent, is it?
I guess they have a lot of custom daytime. I don't know.
I guess,
I don't know how that works.
Close to the Anne Frank Museum, they do quite well with lunches, I expect.
I would imagine so. Yeah. It was a nice place. I do recommend it.
So
what about
it called
you?
Again? What's it called again?
Sorry, that is New Dutch Amsterdam on the Prinsengracht, on the Jordan side of Prinsengracht.
Cool. There you are, listeners. Amsterdam Kitchen. Our guest is in the studio, so we're going to go and chat to her in a minute, bring her on air in about 10 minutes, Boyan, with her cookbook, Stories. Oh, it's my turn.
Yes.
The restaurant. I was just in the middle of doing an Instagram. I have to put that down.
Focus, Kathy, focus. So Tell me, where have you been this week?
Well, last week we went to the Landmarkt. Often it gets to a Sunday, and we need a lunch. I was doing a lot of housework. It was a really hot, lovely day, if you remember. And everyone was doing things like going to the beach or going to the park. And I decided to do a whole load of washing, cleaning, and go to the supermarket.
Ouch.
But we made it nice because we went to the Landmarkt supermarket, which has got a great cafe restaurant. So you can do your shopping and have a nice meal as well.
Where is it?
It's in Amsterdam Noord, in a little place called Schellingwoude, which is really nice. It's on the water with lots of sailing boats. You can take a cycle trip there because depending on where you live in Amsterdam, it's not that convenient. So where we are, we would drive because we're in Amsterdam West. But if you're living in the east of Amsterdam, or maybe in the north as well, or Eiburg, you could easily cycle.
Very nice.
And it's great. It makes a nice cycle ride of its own. And don't even bother with the supermarket because if you go a bit further, you get to this Durgedam dike, and that's really nice as well. Just sailing boats and old little houses on the water, and you look over the Eye or whatever, or the IJsselmeer or something. But anyway, back to Landmarkt. You can cycle to Landmarkt too, or drive. There's a good car park there. And it's a supermarket. It's got that kind of feeling of a little bit of a Whole Foods feeling. But it's not, I wouldn't call it a farmer's market or anything. Okay. But it's great. It's got lots of room to kind of walk around, plenty of room for the trolleys. You don't feel like that supermarket feeling. Back to the restaurant cafe. Okay, so they've got a big terrace outside and they've just had this upgraded as well. It was nice before, actually. We've been going for years. Okay. They didn't really need to spend a lot of money upgrading because it was perfectly nice before, but it is super nice now as well. They've got a lot more comfy lounge seats on the deck terrace out the back. They've got a little pond with like ducks and leaves and stuff, because there is a main road, maybe the A10 or something, rushing by, but you don't really get that feeling because you've got like lots of greenery and trees and this little pond. So they've kind of like done a good job of mitigating that. And what else? So
what did you eat?
What did I eat? A refreshing salad, very much like yours, although it's a bit more modest. So let's see, it was... Bear with me. It's they call it a carpaccio of beet, pear, balsamico champignon, so balsamic mushrooms, potato chips, and you can pay extra, €2 extra, and you get some goat's cheese. And like sliced red beetroots, it must be really simple. But I don't know if the chef slices it in this really special way. But the way they, or the amazing beetroots, I think we're used to having them, from a jar or pickled, or in those plastic packets. But these were just really lovely thin slices, and you're right, refreshing, so refreshing. The salad, it was $10.50, so a bit of €5 less than yours.
Yeah, a bit better than mine.
but it was modest. I'd say it was on a flat plate. And it was all spread out. You didn't get many mushrooms, I'll tell you that. I had to search for them underneath the kind of topping bit. And I have had it before with goat's cheese, and I think that makes it a little bit more substantial. But, you know, if you're looking for a refreshing salad, I really like that. And I was going to say, there's not many places where you could get a salad like that. And then you come along with a very similar salad at the new Dutch Amsterdam.
Yeah, sorry about that. But it was a hot day. I think we were obviously all just in the mood for something light.
No, and I wanted, my husband had husgerukt, smoked salmon on a piece of bread, but it was big. It was very generous, and that was around like €10, $9.50. But they do uitmeitjes or whatever they're called, outsmiters and tosties. The tosties are about €6, you know, so they do all those things.
Yeah.
They don't have anything too imaginative on the menu, I would say. But I've had the burgers. Burgers are good. So they use a particular type of beef, a kind of Palmerston thing. I should really know that better, but they make a big thing of their beef.
And the sauce of their beef, okay.
Yes. It's got an open kitchen. You've got loads of seats outside, but in the winter, they've got loads of seats inside. We've been in the winter, and it's perfectly nice and cozy.
Sounds lovely.
And then you go and do your shopping. In the summer, they've got a big grassy patch, and they've got this lots of playthings, the swings, and a big wooden tower thing for children. They can go up and down and sit inside, and a trampoline. Oh, I forgot about the trampoline.
Oh wow, yeah,
yeah.
Big enough for adults or strictly kids only?
Oh, it's really for the kids. Adults, with any. Adults can go on there, but they're not supposed to, Gilly. I didn't know you were into trampolining. And they do kids' ice creams as well, special little ice creams. And then when you're done with that and you go inside the shopping, there is an enormous tractor.
Wow.
So Hans, our 3.5-year-old, loved it. So he was
Can climb on it kind of thing? Or?
Absolutely, he did.
Oh, that would be great fun.
Levers to pull.
Even I want to do that.
You're such a kid at heart. But no, it's a great place. Landmarkt, I recommend it. In Amsterdam Nord.
And is there anything else around it? Like another, I mean, you said it's a great cycle ride and it's obviously a destination in its own right, but any other reason why you might find yourself that way?
Well, there's a couple of, there's a really old little kind of brown bar pub stroke hotel further up at the Durgedam Dike, and I think maybe one other place. There's a sailing club further up.
Okay.
I went to a good yoga retreat next door, but that's not really a public building, but they ran some yoga events and things.
Okay.
You just go for the gezelligheid or the mooi surroundings, but there is a kind of traditional Dutch hotel restaurant further up, which I love in the winter, and you can go and have Erwten soup and hot chocolate.
Okay, I might have to review that one later.
Yeah, that's our reviews. Not quite the epic of last week's Breda,
but also that was quite epic last week.
Which we had to give in 2 instalments
with your spillage and your the wine the colour of.
Listen back online, everyone. If you just missed last week's review of Restaurant to Breda, it was a good one. It's online on our podcast, as this will be, and on our Mixcloud.
Broadcast Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, you're back. It's 10:28 on Amsterdam Kitchen. Our guest is here, Bojana Snijders-Nikojevic, with her cookbook. She's going to tell us about that shortly. Right, what are we going to do? Winkelwagen?
Yeah, sure. So if you remember last week what did we have last week in the Winkelwagen? And I've remembered to pronounce
Blueberries.
Blueberries, that's right. And they were organic and yada yada. But so this week I want to talk to you about gehakt schnitzels.
Yes. Well done.
Thank you.
It's difficult.
It's taken me all week to get my tongue around that.
Yeah. Is there a bargain on gehakt schnitzels?
There is, Kathy, and it's at a supermarket called Dirk. Anyway, it's a supermarket that
Dirk van der Broek.
All right, okay.
It's the full name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right.
It's a total first for me. I never stepped inside this particular supermarket before.
It depends where you live, because they're not everywhere in Amsterdam, not like Albert Heijn.
That's right. They are more on the outskirts than they are in the centre. But yes, so what is the offer? Well, the offer is for a pack of 4 gehakt schnitzels, it's $2.99, and that is down from $4.98.
Ooh, not bad.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah. So you get 4.
So you get 4.
Ooh.
500 gram. Yeah, it's a 500 gram pack.
Yes.
So I thought, well, this is a good deal when I was in there and I was looking around and thought, I'll have some of that.
Yes.
There was a small challenge, which was that they'd obviously sold out.
So popular.
So popular. obviously such a great deal. So I haven't been able to try the product, but and no doubt the shelves have been restocked since then. This was way back at the beginning of the week. The offer is definitely still open. It's available online too. So even if you want to do your online shopping this week, then look out for that. That's Dirk's Supermarket. But what's kind of curious, I don't know if you can shed any light on this for me, Kathy, is that it comes in two options, right? There's the natural, which is just a seasoned pork variety, but then there was another one called, wait a minute, what was that word? Zigeuner, which when I translate it, translates as gypsy.
Yeah, it's probably a slang from, like traditional something, or what gypsies ate, or gypsy
Well,
style.
yeah, I was
something.
just like, what is gypsy flavour? I don't know. My guess is that there's some paprika in there.
It was the bright orange colour
one. Gives it away. If anyone goes out and tries that this week, then let us know what gypsy flavour is.
Gypsy flavour. But my favourite schnitzel, whatever bargain's on, I still go to Bastiaan de Slagerij. I've looked around because I've tried schnitzel from quite a few places. I go to Bastiaan de Slagerij, which is on the Overtoom towards the Papa John's. He serves at least 3 different types of schnitzel. It's a counter butcher type. He's really good. He expanded recently, like a few years ago, because they're so good. They do a lot of pre-prep food. But what I like about their schnitzel is the crumb stays on the meat after you're frying. Yeah. Very often you'll fry some schnitzel in the pan, half the crumb comes off.
Yeah, disappointing.
His crumb stays on very nicely, and the seasoning is just right. It's not overpowering. It's still got this umami, and it doesn't crumble up or go soggy either. It stays kind of crisp and nice.
Yeah.
Like as if you'd get it in a restaurant or something. Like I've never been able to do it. But if you have trouble with it, try Bastiaan de Slagerij's.
Okay.
Broadcast Amsterdam.
You're right. It's 10:40 and you're here with Amsterdam Kitchen. And welcome to the studio, Bojana Snijders Nikojevic.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Cool, welcome. And you've got a very interesting cookbook to tell us about. No ordinary cookbook. It's got a whole method behind it. But first of all, tell us a bit about yourself, what you're doing here in Amsterdam and your background.
Yeah, so I'm originally Serbian. I've been living in Amsterdam for almost 20 years now. I came to the Netherlands to study. I met the love of my life, as it happens. And we're happily married. We have 2 boys, 8 and 10. And yeah, I've been living in Amsterdam for longer than I've been living anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. It sucks you in, doesn't it, with its loveliness and
laid-back vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite city in the world.
Oh, cool.
So is that fair to say then that your career has been entirely Amsterdam?
My career has been entirely in Amsterdam.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you haven't done too badly. I think you were in the MasterChef television series. Is
Goodness,
that right?
my background. So I'm a mechanical engineering by training.
Wow.
I worked in consulting, in finance, in strategy, and then I went on MasterChef and
That's quite a turnaround.
As a chef.
Yes.
And now a book publisher / author.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic.
See, everyone listening, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you can always take a little tangent or whatever, if you've got a good idea. So how did you get the idea for Plan, Prep, Plate, which is the name of your book?
Yeah, so I've worked for about 3 years as a chef, catering, but also working around different restaurants. And what I've noticed is how differently they cook professionally from how we cook at home. So they never cook when you order the food. They just finish it. And all the cooking happens during the day when the kitchen is quiet, when there are no diners, there's no pressure, and they can cook in an organized and systematic and efficient way. And I thought, God, this is so brilliant. In my days of being a professional consultant, I would rush home and I'd have about an hour to be with my kid and prepare dinner at the same time. And I always found that a struggle because I found healthy homemade meals very important to offer to my child. But at the same time, you can't be with them if you have to cook. So I thought if I could serve this meal, or if I could finish this meal in only 5 or 10 minutes, that would save me so much time. So that's where I got the idea to take the approach of how professional kitchens operate and to adjust it for home settings so it's not as fiddly and fussy, difficult ingredients or unfamiliar spices, but just apply to the ordinary foods that we eat every day, but cook them in a way that if you spend about 2 hours on a weekend or on a weeknight when you have time prepping, you'd be able to serve your daily dinner in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, and a healthy homemade meal. That's fantastic. I love it. It's the kind of the engineer in you is obviously kind of come out.
Engineer talking.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So I was kind of curious about so you had this concept for the book, and then how did you bring that, how did you go from idea to physical hardback book with lovely photos?
Because you've done it yourself, haven't you? It's not like from a publisher. So, yeah, how did you get to do that?
It's funny. Yeah. I actually never tried to approach any publishers because I didn't trust them to finish the book, to make the book in a way I wanted it to be.
Okay, yeah.
And I wanted to have control, creative and executive control of the whole project.
Yes.
So that just meant I had to do it myself. How do you make a book? It's like with any complex things. Yeah. You chunk it, you split it into bits that each in itself is relatively simple to comprehend, and you do it one by one.
One step at a time.
All again,
absolutely.
about the process.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see the physical book because I've seen it online and the photos, but it's quite a good, chunky, substantial tome here. Yeah. It's a nice hardback.
Yeah, I like that very much. It's very practical for when you're actually in the kitchen. It's the sort of book that should just get splashed and grease marks all over it. But what particularly drew my eye was the photography, because I have some experience in magazine publishing, and I kind of know that food photography is quite a challenge to get it looking really appealing, and obviously it's important that it looks appealing. Did you have any challenges around that, or did you bring in some outside help, or how did that go?
Yes, so food photography was done by Barbara Zanzin, which is my favorite food photographer in the world. She's an incredible professional, and she totally understood what I was going for. I didn't want the photography to look too styled or too pretty, because that's not how our normal daily meals are. I didn't want people to be intimidated. And additionally, I wanted to show the process again. So the elements that go in the dish and how final dish looks when you put it together. Yeah, it evolved organically. When we met for the first session, I had 4 shooting sessions with her. That's all the budget that I had. So it had to happen within those. And when
it's quite a lot.
Yeah, well, but the photography can take, it's quite a slow process as well to get it right. So,
yeah, you can shoot about 5 to 6 dishes a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot in the book to cover,
And you have to be all organised up front, right? You really, because obviously you need to maximise your time with the photographer. You can't be faffing around going, I forgot to buy this or that, or this still needs some preparation.
You have to be all organised, prepared. So again, I used the cooking method. Everything was prepared up front, and we made those shots, and then I cooked it. The trouble with cooked food, and that's the challenge of food photography compared to any other sort of photography, is that the food loses its appeal quite quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Things turn from green to grey, condensation forms, fat congels. So you have to have everything right, your lighting, your positioning, your whole layout, and then you have about a minute or 2 to get the shot.
It's a tiny window, right? Yeah.
But
or you need more in the background ready to, if something goes wrong.
But the funny thing is that once we got the things right, for the first session we didn't have the concept quite clear. We experimented with a couple things, and then we settled, okay, we love the white background and we want everything to look uniform and white. And then the next 2 sessions just flew, and it went all so smoothly and easily that I had an extra session left over,
Oh,
which I
wow.
then used to make additional process photos of chopping, of tools that I use. So there's a lot of bonus photography that I was able to include in the book because we've overperformed.
Well done you.
Yes, coming in on budget.
But I think that's also great because, as you say, the book is really a guide to how to be organised, and so actually some of those photos will be very useful for, like, maybe not everyone's that experienced or great in the kitchen.
Yeah, with step by step.
I definitely wasn't when I started my MasterChef journey. I had a passion. I cooked a lot, but I was one big mess. You know, everybody on the show was just making fun of me. I couldn't chop. I couldn't organize my stuff together. I was just dumping pots and pans on the side of my working bench, and a poor production team that cleans up after the show, they were like, oh, you again. But I did get some very good tips throughout the program from the jury, and I stuck with those. Yes. And it's something you can learn. And now I can't cook any other way.
Yes.
Like occasionally I give cooking workshop to people, and I keep organizing their stuff. Like, this is your workplace, you know, make it clean, make it neat, familiar. Give yourself space. So it's definitely something that you can learn, and it's very useful.
Oh, that's kind. Passing on your knowledge. Now, Gilly, what did you like the look of in this cookbook? Quite a lot.
Yes, I did. There's a lot to like, not least of which is the beautiful family photograph that the book opens with. But in terms of the recipes, the melty pork belly with sweet potatoes and miso sauce sounds divine. I'm definitely going to give that a try. So I just wondered, is there a personal favourite of yours in the book?
Now you caught me there. Pork belly is my favorite piece of meat or protein, hands down. Sometimes I feel a bit embarrassed because it's not considered to be
too healthy or too refined.
Too healthy or refined, indeed. But again, I believe everything in moderation, so I eat quite healthy most of the time, and every now and then, if you indulge in a well-cooked piece of pork belly,
what's the harm, right?
There's no harm.
Happiness is all part of the health equation. So, okay. And then in terms of equipment, I think, Kathy, you were...
Yes. With this method, what kind of cooking equipment do you think is really good to invest in to help with all the preparation? What tools do you think are essential for prepping big time and for this
on a
kind of...
domestic scale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can invest in as little or in as much as you like. Obviously, having a high-power blender such as Vitamix could save a lot of time and help you produce some amazing results. It comes at a hefty price, but just having a good chef's knife sharpener, and a large chopping board is all you need to start.
It's true. That's I mean, that's actually when I went to do my training course. The philosophy of the school was totally like, you don't need anything, practically. You know,
it saves
like
a bit of money.
A knife, a board, some pans, but there's no reason why you can't create so much from just a few basic pieces of equipment.
There you are, Amsterdam. That's good to know. But I guess you do need to put something to put it all in, so you kind of need a lot of Tupperware.
Yes, it's good to have Tupperware. So you can store all the food that you prepared. So if we're talking about what you need to invest in to start with the method, on the other hand, most households do have at least some Tupperware.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially for families, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that an extra. I do love my glass Tupperware.
Uh-huh.
It's very practical because it's oven safe. Yeah. So it doubles. You can reheat things in the oven in your Tupperware, and it stacks neatly. But honestly, any Tupperware will do. Even a plate with a tin foil,
yes,
or a cling film.
Yeah, And, you know, like old plastic tubs from you get whatever something has come in, like yogurt or ice cream. And if you stick to the same brand, then they're all the same size and then they stack better.
Yes,
you know,
that's
like
it.
if you just
Yeah.
get the one product all the time, I don't know, margarine or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you can you can build on it.
And, you know, I don't want people to think that they need to buy all these things before they can start cooking. And that could be used as a convenient excuse. But, you know, all you need is goodwill and intention and a sharp knife.
A sharp knife. I tell you what, I like the look of those buckwheat pancakes.
Oh, yes. They were a family favorite for a long time. Originally, they started just as a regular flour pancakes, but I adjusted them because my children have friends with gluten allergy, and buckwheat is gluten-free.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's still the trick with those pancakes. People think you need flour to create gluten to hold the whole thing together, but actually protein in eggs that go in this pancake also holds it together. So you use starchy component flour, in this case, buckwheat flour, just to soak up additional moisture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very ingenious ways, say, of sneaking in vegetables to your kids' diet by mixing them in.
Yeah, so my kids started, especially my older one, by eating just plain rice, and he didn't want anything else. So it was a long road to teach him to eat vegetables, and those pancakes were
A good way
one
in.
of the tools that really helped me along the way. Now he's a brilliant eater, and I couldn't be happier. But
It can be challenging. can't
there's
it?
a phase around 3-4 years old when any kid.
Yeah.
I have that right now.
I was going to say,
Plain rice.
you're in amongst
I
that
don't
right
want
now.
that. Just white. No, don't want that yellow. Don't want that green.
Nothing touching anything
Yes.
else. Or
Yes.
chopped wrong.
That's a sign of character developing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
no,
I
that's
still
good.
need to keep learning about food and experience, even if they don't eat it.
But hey, what else have you got up your sleeve? You were talking about courses and workshops that you're doing.
Yeah, so I have taken a bit of a break with the book due to some family circumstances last year. And now I'm back. I have partnered with Opperdoezer Kitchens.
Oh, that's a big name.
That's a nice
Fancy.
name to have.
Yeah.
I adore their kitchens.
Yeah.
I think they're very clean, very functional, very practical, and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I have developed a series of cooking workshops for some of their selected clients based on my method. And they are also distributing my cookbooks to their kitchen buyers.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
That's a
Well
great
done.
collaboration. Look out for that. And then if people want to buy your cookbook, where do they go? Can they buy it in the shops or online?
Yeah, no, so I'm selling the book only on my website exclusively. And the website is www.planprepandplate.com.
That's it. Nice and easy.
Nice and succinct.
Name of the book. Go to the website. You ship all over the world, don't you?
I do.
That's good. But for the Dutch version, €25, including delivery. That's right, isn't it?
That is correct.
When I say the Dutch version, I don't mean it's in Dutch. I mean in the Netherlands. It's
Postage
in
and
English.
then-
It's in English, correct.
No, that's great. Oh, and we're going to offer a €5 discount to Broadcast Amsterdam listeners.
Woohoo!
So,
Exclusive.
yeah. So don't order in the normal way. Then you can contact Bojana via her website and say, hey, Broadcast Amsterdam.
That's it.
That's your perk.
Yeah,
listeners.
send me a message and I'll email you the discount code through which you can get €5 off exclusively for the listeners of Broadcast Amsterdam.
Thank you very
Yes.
much, Banyana. So, have you got another book in you? Or what's coming up in the future for you, apart from the workshops with Boltap?
Goodness, have I got another book? I loved the process of making this book. The creative side of it was involved in every single aspect, including doing the layout myself eventually, learning the InDesign. Another cookbook.
I feel you've mastered it.
Yeah, you caught me there. I love learning new skills. I love learning new things. But once I've done it,
Would you go back?
I feel you're going to go on to the next big challenge,
Yeah.
you know?
That may be on the cards. I don't know yet what it is, but you may be right.
Make a film or something. That sounds
Maybe.
good. Or a food documentary. I bet that'd be right. That's very technical. That'd be right down your street.
Yes. Well, let us know, whatever it is.
Yes.
I will.
And thank you for joining us, Bojana. And remember to go to planprepandplate.com. Amsterdam Kitchen. We're going to give you now our 5 faves, 5 spots for brunch.
Brunch, yes. I was looking around researching some ideas for this, and there's lots of, obviously you can do your own research online, but a lot of them are, start with like the top 20 or the top, 17 random numbers
20?
coming out.
How many times
Who
do
wants
these
to
people go
plow?
to these?
Who wants to plow through 20 suggestions for brunch before you make your mind up? So when it comes to us, I thought, well, it's 5. It's just 5 places we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
It's we have to have been to these places. That's the other thing.
Yes. Yes.
And so we're going to dive in with a place which we've both been to. It has 2 sites. It's called Dignita, and I've been to the one that's just south of Vondelpark. It's
very nice. And a bit of a traditional old building. Yeah.
Yeah. But the second site, Kathy, is...
It's in East. It's kind of near the back of the Russian Hermitage, around the back of the Hermitage Art Gallery.
Yeah.
Very nice in a kind of green space. They've got that's a bit of a more modern building in a kind of garden setting.
Right.
So on a Sunday,
that's what the Sad one doesn't have any kind of. Well, it has. So you can sit outside on the street, but
yeah,
it's
and
not
they've got a little
appealing
bit downstairs, but it's not so light and airy.
No.
It's can be a bit cramped, I would say. I've got different levels, whereas the one in the garden is nice and bright, and if it's a nice sunny day or whatever, or if it's a gloomy day, but it's a different vibe. They've both got little play areas for kids, which is good. Really good, very set up for kids. Staff are friendly, it's buzzing. You do have to queue, you can't book.
No, and it is certainly our one is always very busy, especially at the weekends. You can reckon on maybe a 20-minute wait for a table, unless you're early. But it is worth the wait, I got to say. The food is always really nicely prepared. The service is warm and friendly. I mean, they often just approach you in English straight away.
Yeah.
Just go in with a relaxed frame of mind. Don't necessarily expect you're going to be given a table or served super fast. One thing I noticed actually just looking it up recently is that they've changed the menu from when I've been there, so I can't really comment about the current menu.
Yes.
But I think I've more or less worked my way through the whole the whole of the previous menu.
Yeah.
That's how often we go to that place.
Dignita.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there were at the time. I don't know if it's worth talking about this since the menu's changed, but there was a lot of egg-based items on toast, what have you. There's always a yogurt granola combination. Yes. There's a Dutch breakfast which involves basically cheese and ham, and the bread is good there.
Yeah,
I would totally
that's good.
Look for that.
Big pile of pancakes with fruit on top. We've had that, and they do some other kind of vegetarian kind of pancakes things, which are very.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think one of the first dishes I had there was something more Middle Eastern in approach. Something. God, what was it?
But
something with chickpeas.
They've used their imagination. Yeah. It's not just eggs Benedict.
Exactly. Labneh, that was what I had. That was what it was, which is really nice. And so as I say, the menu has changed, but it's a good spot, and there's 2 places to choose from. So
yeah, that's Dignita. Staring at Jacob, that's in Oudvest. Only one of those. It's on the corner of Staringstraat and Jacob van Lennenkade, and it's buzzing. There's often a queue. I'm not sure if you can book or not, but it's often like your queues to get a table. It's kind of more American, so you've got your fried chicken and waffles, that sort of thing.
Okay,
pancakes.
A bit more substantial, perhaps.
Yeah. Not so oriented for families, or kids. I don't think they really encourage that. It's more for your young professionals.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of the morning after the night before.
Yes.
More of a vibe, I think. But I have been there, not for brunch, so I can't really talk about that. But the setting is lovely. It's right. You're looking out onto a canal, aren't you?
Oh,
and it's,
yes.
and it's facing the right way for the morning sun.
Oh yes, that's true. And it's got quite a lot of tables outside as well. Then coffee and coconuts into pipe.
Yeah, so this is a very popular place for brunch, I think. Yeah, unless you've just recently moved into Amsterdam, you've probably heard of it, if not actually been there.
Yeah.
But well worth a mention, it's in a converted 1920s cinema. So the building itself is kind of a beautiful spot just to take in.
Yeah.
If you're into architecture, it's from the Amsterdam School. It's no reservations, but it's a big spot with lots of levels. So I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes there. It's got a very relaxed kind of beach surf shack vibe, which the coffee and coconut name suggests. They have a sister. They have a sister restaurant in Bali. If anyone's been to the Bali Coffee and Coconuts, they definitely want to hear from you.
Yeah.
The menu is not available on the website, but it is, again, they offer everything from basic pastry up to full plate, the kind of full plate that's going to keep you going all day long.
That's good. So you can have just like a croissant. Brilliant.
So, well, I think that's pretty much all I can say for Coffee and Coconuts. As I say, it's just a very relaxed vibe. Food is great. They do offer loads of smoothies as well, which was very popular with my family. Check it out.
Plek in Amsterdam Noord. So it's a bit of a schlep. You may have to go by car or ferry and bike, but it's a great place for brunch. Probably not so imaginative on their brunch options. Normal egg dishes, probably pancakes. I can't remember exactly, but it's got that Sunday morning vibe. It really has. Lounge seats, big open, the back of the container thing that they are all in. Comfy seats. They play music, often with a live music, and they've got a wood-burning stove inside.
Oh, nice. So good all year round.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got a view over, the eye.
Over the eye,
seeing the ferries coming and going. So I can't think of anything better for a Sunday to lounge. I mean, it's hard to get those lounge seats because they're popular, but you can always sit on the carpet as well, and stuff. And then if it's good weather, you can sit out and on the lounges as well. But it's big, that place as well.
Yes, that is huge. I haven't personally been there for brunch. I know you have, but I loved the cooking. When I went, it was this kind of Sunday afternoon. There was music playing. They were very contemporary with their ingredients. I'd been living in Geneva, which is very traditional in food, so I was very excited to be at Plek, where they were having stuff with pomegranate seeds thrown over it, and I think it actually reduced me to tears.
That's ridiculous.
I know, but that's how starved I was of varied...
Food is emotional, isn't it? And maybe more so for others than... But and then finally, because we've mentioned 4 so far, 5th, Little Collins, which is 2 branches now. Its first branch was in De Pijp, by the market, by the Albert Kuipstraat. Very popular place for brunch. They do all sorts of brunch-style drinks as well. Good imaginative dishes, also with like the Middle Eastern feel. They've got a kind of an Aussie Melbourne background, so they've got a lot of those types of flavours. And now they've got a branch in Amsterdam West, which is near us on Bilderdijk Kade, I think, or Bilderdijkstraat.
And some cracking Bloody Marys.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you're going for brunch...
That's it. You know what? I'll just say, finally, what we really do need in Amsterdam, or maybe not necessarily because it's dangerous, is those kind of like, brunches where you just go and you have endless Bloody Marys and stuff, and you can just top yourself up and stuff. Yeah, Bucks Fizz and the mimosas and stuff. We don't really have one of those where if you've lived abroad in New York or somewhere else, you get these kind of breakfast places where you can just pay a set fee.
Up.
Exactly. They keep filling up, or
whether
they bring
it's
it
food
out.
or drink. Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
I will say you that. I'll tell you that. It's probably a good thing we don't have that.
Yeah.
I'll say,
for our waistlines.
Yeah. And then finally, because these are all quite pricey, actually, these places that we've mentioned, what is brunch anyway? If you just go to a Dutch brown bar, chances are you'll get an uitsmijter, which is like bread and toast and egg and ham or something, an OJ and a coffee, and you can just call it brunch. Because, there you are. And it'll be a third of the price of the places we just mentioned. Did you know uitsmijter, which is that toast and egg and dish thing, means bouncer, and the dish probably was named as such because it's something that bouncers used to eat a lot. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. Amsterdam Kitchen. This is our in-season segment.
It is.
What's in season?
Well, it's the Opperdoezer Ronde, in case we hadn't mentioned that already. Yes, so Kathy, you put me onto this. Tell me why.
It's the meest bijzonder speciale aardappel in the hele Nederlands. It's the most beautiful, delicious potato in the whole of the Netherlands, if you are to believe the marketing hype.
Okay.
They've got a whole website. I think it's one of those where, you can't call yourself an Opperdoezer Ronde unless you come from there. It's like a mark, not trademark as such, but it's protected status. And, I've always been curious because there has been definitely this kind of grand thing. Oh, try this, the Opperdoezer Ronde are now in season. You can get them here and it's very special. So I've got them a few times to try them. But
you haven't been impressed?
No, I'm like, am I imagining something here? Because I can taste the difference in potatoes. There are some potatoes which I really love, Maris Pipers. Certain new potatoes I can really taste them, so I know what I like with potatoes. And actually, these are kind of some of the most unflavorful. Like, it's not even that they're normal. I would just say they're the opposite of normal. They're actually uniquely flavorless for me. They're when I've cooked them, they've been very dry and not much interesting. And that's the whole thing. I think the whole marketing shtick around them is delicate flavor. And I always think, is this some kind of like Emperor's New Clothes, or just a way of dressing up a kind of very nondescript potato and saying, well, you have to have a very fine palate to appreciate it. A bit like white asperges, which I don't particularly like either. It's just a delicate flavour. You're just not getting it because you're not refined enough, But I've tried roasting them in their skins because, the skin is very thin. You can cook them in your skins. That's the whole point. I've tried boiling them and I've had good quality ones from Landmarkt and Marked. It's not like I've gone to the bargain bin. And I just have not impressed. So I set you a challenge, didn't I?
You did. You set me a challenge. I don't know whether I rose to it, but so I've bought in vichyssoise, which I've made for you. You're going to taste that in a little while. So before we do that, though, let me just tell you a little bit more about this potato. You're right, it is a protected status product of origin, which is one of only 6 in the Netherlands. We'll have to maybe look into what the other 5 are for a future feature. Grown in the north of Holland, and you're right, and it's just all around one small village. So it's not a huge production, and also, which I think, not a huge production, but also has to be harvested by hand because they are considered so delicate and yada yada. So there's a lot of, I think they're quite an expensive potato to produce, is what I imagine, and maybe that's where the marketing, it's a bit chicken and egg, I think. So I've got some sympathy with you about the flavour. Yes, there is. It's subtle, certainly. So I steamed the first batch, and they weren't as dry as I think you have found them to be.
Excuse me.
But you're right. You shouldn't have to just dose everything in melted butter to be able to enjoy it. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do here? But it was very hot this week. It was very, very hot, and I frankly didn't fancy doing any cooking.
Okay, yeah. Be honest.
or at least keeping it to an absolute minimum.
Yeah.
I'm on the 3rd floor, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but my kitchen does get very, very warm. So that's why I settled on the vichyssoise, which only involved boiling the potatoes, and then you could just whiz it all up and
adding cream.
Okay. I see where you're going there. But actually, it's one small pot of cream for 4 portions. So actually, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But that's why you were asking me if I was going to serve it right now. I'm like, I wouldn't want to serve it completely chilled, which is how it is right now, because that cream is going to leave you with a slightly grainy texture in your mouth, which I don't think you're going to enjoy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to just bring it to more of a room temperature and let you taste it, and let's see. What else? You're right. There's a special website for it, which does come up with 1,000,001 ways to cook this potato. The other way that appealed to me, but again, it's too hot, so I didn't do it, is as a tarte tatin. I mean, again, it's maybe not getting away from this argument that you're slathering it in various
butter.
forms of richness in order
Yes.
to give it flavour. It's true. But I'm a sucker for a tartatan. So I might give that one a go later. But the season is pretty short. So if you want to give the Opperdoezer a try,
And
you've got to
you're
get out there
curious,
now.
and you think, I have a refined palate. I'm going to try these Opperdoezer Ronde. You go to opperdoezerronde.nl. We'll give you the link. But yeah, maybe Amsterdammers, you think, or maybe you've tried them and you love them, and you're like, those guys are talking bullshit. These are the most delicious potatoes I've ever tasted.
They are a good potato, I've got to say. I mean, if you're looking for a flavour reveal, not so much, but the texture is good. I found the texture quite waxy, and it was better for us. I also turned it into a salad.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, nice.
Light, not so
Right.
much fat. This one. This was just lemon zest and olive oil, and chives, and that was good.
It worked for you.
Yeah.
They're and they're also like round and knobbly, aren't they?
They are.
Not the most attractive potatoes.
You certainly don't want to have to peel them.
No, there we are. I'm glad you made it work in a salad. Amsterdam Kitchen. So I'm now testing the
The vichyssoise.
the vichyssoise
With the Opperdoezer Ronde.
Yes, Opperdoezer
Aardappel.
Ronde.
So what do you think, Kathy?
I love it. I like it. I'm not convinced it's the superior quality of the Opperdoezer Ronde potato.
No, it may have something to do with the vermouth that went in there.
Vermouth too.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
shot of martini, which I think, just gives it a nice, more interesting flavour, I think.
It's you can still taste the potato grain, which maybe it's the grain of the potato I just don't like,
Yeah,
because it's something about it like.
So when I was cooking these potatoes in different ways, there were one or two where there was like a patch of dryness where it was fluffy, which I guess is maybe where what you've encountered and didn't like. I don't know that it's worth the premium, I'll be honest.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, there are waxy potatoes out there that you can do all this kind of stuff with, and you're probably not paying quite the extra.
Yeah, it's true. Amsterdam Kitchen. This is a new segment. Should have introduced it in the pilot last week, but we were just full.
We ran out of time, didn't we?
That's right.
So what is Eat My Dutch, Kathy?
Well, it's kind of like a Dutch lesson, a food-themed Dutch lesson. We take some vocabulary for you and just kind of like very quickly introduce you to some Dutch words or phrases related to food, cooking, or whatever. Yeah. So we're going to go through cooking terms, most of which begin with something because it's the verb of, past tense.
Past tense, right.
So we'll start off, we've got some obvious ones. Gegrilled, so grilled. Gestoomd, steamed. Gesneden, chopped.
Gesneden, yes, chopped.
And
I
so,
know that one.
Yeah, so you might well find these in a Dutch recipe or also on a Dutch menu.
Yeah.
And then we get some gerookt, obviously, smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Gepocheerd,
Oh, what's that?
poached.
Ah.
Poached egg, gepocheerd. This is one you suggested, gekoeld, which is Gekoeld.
Cold, yeah.
Chilled.
Right.
That's right.
Made cold, yeah.
Let's go back up here. Geroosterd. So that's Geroosterd. Geroosterd. Roasted. Yes.
That makes sense.
And just a disclaimer, we're not Dutch teachers, so we may well make mistakes and also be shit on our pronunciation.
Yeah.
We'll just tell you
Don't quote us.
what we're learning together. And we've got gestoofd, which is stewed or braised.
Ah, that's a good one to know.
Yeah. Gestoofd. Gestoofd.
Okay, now the one to look out for, though,
That's right.
is...
It's gebakken, which sounds quite normal. You'd say, well, baked.
Yeah, sounds like it goes in the oven.
Yes. Pass up. Be careful. It can be quite ambiguous. It can also mean other things. For example, sautéed.
Sautéed, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just saying that recipe for the vichyssoise called for there was some onion in there, and that needed to be gebakt.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you've read that, I would assume, well, gebakt. Put the onion in the oven, I think. Yeah.
So it's the sauté, which obviously is just softening down without taking colour.
Okay. Yes,
So,
that's what sauteing is, right. Softening down without adding colour. Very good. Oh, so that's more like, that can be what you have or you should do if you see gebakken. And then we've got gekookt, which is quite simple, just cooked. That's often boiled. Like, so you've got gekookt ei, boiled egg.
Boiled egg, okay.
And let's see, let's go on to some more random ones. Bevroren, Bevroren. Bevroren.
I can't even take a guess at that, Kathy. What is it?
Frozen.
Oh.
Which is like, you'd think there would be a frisierd or something, you know, but it's not. It's befroren, frozen.
This time. Okay.
So you might find that on like frozen ice, frozen yogurt or frozen something. Aangebreiden, you told me that one.
Gosh, did I?
Yeah. You forgot.
We prepped this 2 weeks ago. So.
Yeah.
Yes, aangebreiden.
Seared.
Seared.
Yeah,
that's another very
aangebreiden.
useful one, yeah.
And then finally, we've got a couple. Roergebakken, also one from you. Stir-fried.
Mm-hmm.
So that's R-O-E-R, then gebakken.
Gebakken. So
Stir-fried.
roer is the quick,
Yes.
that sense of flash fry.
And then also roer-ei, in a similar sense.
Now that sounds like raw egg.
It's not, it's scrambled eggs.
Ah.
But yeah. Raw eggs. Roer-ei. It's more like, messed up. Roer.
Yeah. Okay.
So R-O-E-R-E-I. Roer-ei. So there you are. You now know all your Dutch
You won't
cooking
be so
terms.
scared
Really.
now you look at a Dutch menu.
That's true. So that was Eat My Dutch. Amsterdam Kitchen. You're back with me, Kathy Young, and Gilly Carney for the end of the Amsterdam Kitchen. We've got our markets and more segment. Right, what's going on in Amsterdam, food related? We've got Friday, so coming up next Friday, the 6th of September. This is quite special.
Yeah, this is a dock and lobster party.
Lobster? There's never a lobster party in Amsterdam. It's amazing. It's very chi for Amsterdam.
It does sound it, doesn't it?
Not.
Yeah. So it's starting from 4:30, but I think it's going on till midnight if you have that kind of appetite. There's lobster, fresh fish, live music, and abundant gin and tonics are on the menu. They describe it as a fish bacchanal. So yeah, lots of seafood, and you can have your feet in the sand and your hands in the air, and just, I mean, it just sounds like fun. I hope the weather plays ball.
Yeah, one of the last beach parties maybe. Dock used to be in more in the Westerhavens area, and it's moved now to more like Amsterdam Oost near the Philips building, I think, towards that end of town. If you're thinking of the old dock, this is a new dock location. Bit of a beach bar vibe. I would not be satisfied if I went to this and there was not someone in a lobster costume dancing on the dance floor.
Please, yes.
I'd be disappointed if they didn't have that.
No, that's true.
That's Friday. Put it in your diaries. We'll have our links on Pinterest. If you follow us, pinterest.com, look for Broadcast Amsterdam. There's links on our website, broadcastamsterdam.nl. We embed our Pinterest board as well because a lot of these links are on there, including from the 13th to the 15th of September, the very first seafood festival in Amsterdam. But you know what? I have my doubts about whether this is going ahead because the location is still to be announced.
Still to be announced. I mean, that's just a couple of weeks away. That seems odd, but it's definitely seafood season, and if it happens, I think it's going to be great. Again, free entrance. They have, as well as seafood, of course, they're going to have some local wine specialists. The biggest and highest fruits de mer you can imagine, barbecues with tuna and gambas, and I mean, it sounds great again.
Sounds good.
But as I say, just if you want to follow it on Facebook, and they will notify presumably once they've come up with a venue.
Yeah, come on, guys, you're running out of time. It's the 13th of September. We want to know where you are, and we want it to go ahead. It sounds cool. But hey, if it doesn't go ahead, you can always go to the lobster thing. That's this Friday. And then there's a beer festival also on the 13th of September at, Brouwerij Homeland, which is in the same place as Pension Homeland, which is a kind of nice hotel.
Okay.
When I say nice, it's kind of got this 60s vibe. It's kind of they've done a lot with a kind of dated building and given it a really cool layout and stylish finish. So it's a good little hotel there. It's by the Maritime Museum, that kind of area, and the Nemo Science Museum on an island with water all around. They just had this water sports festival last weekend, so there's all sorts kicking off in this area. So the Amsterdam Beer Festival, they've invited loads of different breweries. So this is Friday the 13th, just one night only. It starts at 3 o'clock, goes on, probably to midnight or beyond. Invited beers, not just from the Netherlands, I think. I think they've invited beers from out of town. 50 beers from different brewers out of alle provincia, whatever. Amsterdam Beer Festival, they're calling it. I mean, there's going to be some big beer festivals coming up as well in the autumn. They have the Pop Beer Festival and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you can't wait, there's that. Okay, right. So that's our Markets and More. We'll be on air next Saturday for 2 hours, 10 till 12. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Bojan, our special guest. Thank you to Matt J. Brown for some of our music bed tracks. Keep listening to Broadcast Amsterdam on broadcastamsterdam.nl.
Amsterdam Kitchen. Join us live on Saturday mornings
From 10 till 12.
on Broadcast Amsterdam.
Or catch up later.
It's all online.
Amsterdam Kitchen.
Amsterdam Kitchen. Join us live on Saturday mornings
From 10 till 12.
on Broadcast Amsterdam.
Or catch up later.
It's all online.